Kamala Harris's book. I'm
Yeah.
bewildered by the whole thing. I'm bewildered by the kind of book she chose to write. I'm bewildered by how she's out there selling it. I'm bewildered how she's reacting to people's reaction to it, particularly her fellow Democrats who she criticized. So I'd love for you to just talk about what you think about what she wrote and what you think about how people have reacted to it.
Well, so full disclosure, I have not read the book yet.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm going to read the book, in all honesty, but I haven't read the book. I've read excerpts, I've seen some of her interviews. I'm kind of puzzled by it too. I don't know what the purpose of it. I'm certainly not in her inner circle. If it was a business, decision to go out there and sell books and get speaking engagements, I think it will sell books. I think she will get speaking engagements. If it was a, relaunch of, potentially running again of her public persona being, relaunched again in the political public sphere, I'm not so sure that landed so well. I mean,
Yeah.
I think um, uh, I think it would have been a much better book. And again, I didn't read it, so
Yeah.
I don't know all that's in there. If it were much more a look at, how Democrats lost middle America and why, and I thought she had great ideas on the campaign trail, why those ideas didn't resonate as well as the Republican ideas and Trump's ideas. I think that would have been a much better book. But then, I mean, some of the anecdotes that came out, they just seemed, really petty.
Yeah.
Gavin didn't call me back.
Yeah.
Shapiro is focused on the art in the red. Like it just seemed very petty to me.
Yeah. What about the way? And again, I know you haven't read it, but I'm sure you've read about these parts. What
Mhm.
about her taking issue with Joe Biden and Jill Biden? Joe Biden calling her right before her debate with Donald Trump. Jill Biden taking Kamala Harris's husband aside and saying, "Are you loyal to us?" Do you see the purpose of those stories?
Um, on the recklessness that she said, having left the decision to run again to Joe and Jill Biden, I think, I mean, my initial thought was a day late, a dollar short.
Yeah.
Like, if, in retrospect, I don't really care because it's done now.
Right.
Um, and on again, the calling her before the debate, I just think, again, a little bit petty. We want to move on. And again, I thought she had very, very good ideas when she ran. I would have loved a focus on that. And also, Democrats want to put 24 behind them, but books get written after an election. They
Right.
just do.
Yeah.
Sort of the style and tenor and approach is what should have been, I think, thought out more clearly.
Right. I want to ask you one more question about her book, which I think is important for understanding her place in history, important for understanding her capacity to be honest about things. Her portrait in the book is very different from what my reporting was in real time and since the book has come out
Mhm.
regarding how she was treated by what you White House types would call the West Wing. My perception was that they went in part because Joe Biden was so poorly treated by the Obama administration, that they
Mhm.
went out of their way to arrange meetings for her with foreign leaders, to make sure she had the staff she needed, to give her high visibility assignments, to support her when she was attacked, to listen to her concerns, to try to hire her the very best people when some people didn't work out.
Mhm.
I believed in real time that there'd never been a White House staff, the president's team, that worked harder to build up and protect a vice president. And her claims in the book is just the opposite. That one of her big problems, including being a presidential candidate on her own, was that they undermined her. They didn't defend her. Based on your knowledge of her people and the President Biden's
Mhm.
people, which of those is closer to the truth?
Well, I mean, first of all, as you know, because of all of the presidents that you've covered and the president that I've worked for and vice president, there's always a tension between the president's staff and the vice president's staff. Like
Always.
who's going to get what issues, who's in what meetings, which staff is in what. There's always tension, and anybody who tells you there isn't is lying. Um, Having said that, if you just look at it from what we saw play out in public, there did seem to be some tension. She did sort of get the issues that kind of were the most politically volatile. Um, but I knew many of the people on her staff, and they're smart and tough, and I think they're no shrinking violets, right? I think if
Yeah.
they wanted to uh, say something or get their point across, they would have done it.
Yeah. I mean, you're right, there's tension because there always is. But I think about Clinton Gore. I
Hmm.
think about Obama Biden.
Hmm.
I think about Bush Quayle. Cheney's a little bit different because of 9/11. But in all those instances, the vice president's office was told, no, you can't do that. You can't meet with our donors. You can't be the lead on an issue that's important, et cetera. So what if, you don't like your team? Deal with it. I saw a Biden White House that bent over, went the extra mile much more often, much more respectful of her place, much less inclined to disrespect her compared to the other ones I named. So sure, they didn't get everything they want, but I know that there were some people in the West Wing who said we're doing too much. There's so much of this is oriented towards building her up, but that
Yeah.
Joe Biden thought it was important, and also they had to be ready for her to be president in case something happened to Joe Biden, and they took that obligation seriously.
Right. I very much agree with that last part of your assessment. I kind of agree with all of it, but Joe Biden was in that spot, right? He knew how important it was to have a really integrated staff and an approach to
Yep.
governing where they work together, and certainly believed in his heart and soul that whoever the VP was needed to be ready to be able to do the job if they needed to do the job. And so I agree with that. I think Joe Biden was in that very, very unique position where he knew the value and the importance of the role of the vice president. So I agree with that for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. Talk
Um,
about 2028 because so much has happened since you were last on,
mm,
and again, I trust your knowledge and instincts about this literally as much as anybody I know. Um, so I talked in the monologue about candidates putting themselves forward as uniters, people who seem to be striving to understand Trump voters versus the dividers who are just really trying to rev up the base.
mhm.
And Gavin Newsom clearly has moved from any pretense or almost any pretense of being a uniter to saying, I'm the guy who's using the power of my office to fight Donald Trump, filing lawsuits, signing legislation, going on social media. Do you believe that he has moved himself now to be the front runner, not a front runner, but the front runner, which the polls and some analysts believe?
We are so far away from actually having a primary,
Yeah.
and I believe a really good primary is gonna fix a lot of things for Democrats, in all honesty, and it's gonna make us feel really good because we're gonna kick the shit out of. Sorry, we're gonna
It's
kick
okay.
the shit out of all of these candidates who are thinking about running, and we're gonna see how they do. Um, Without a primary, and again, with the caveat that it's so far ahead, I do think that Gavin Newsom has sort of risen to the top in terms of potential contenders out there. He was able, through social media, really sort of show the kind of um, I'm going to say absurdity in Donald Trump's tweets and social media posts and sort of the way he engages with other electeds, et cetera, just to show, because coming from Gavin Newsom, just how kind of crazy it is. And I guess Trump can get away with it, but Gavin Newsom sort of showed that he could get away with it too.
Right.
Now, in the uniting again, I want to the Charlie Kirk assassination. You see Gavin still being a fighter, but sort of lowering the temperature. So I always thought he wasn't going to be able to sustain that sort of really aggressive stance. Um, And I think he's pulling back a little bit. But right now, anyway, if Democrats want a fighter, they have it in Gavin Newsom.
Yeah. I want to talk to you about Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez.
Mm,
I got nothing against her, and I recognize her talent. I understand how compelling she is, how much energy she has, how much of a great feel she has for the left grassroots populist wing of the party. I respect her ability to raise money online, to be compelling online. I just see, I'm confused by people's enthusiasm for her running because she lacks so many of the other things that people who are nominated generally have. Like, she doesn't have a long-standing identification with any issues that are popular. She's got superficial association with things like the Green New Deal, but those aren't broadly popular. And
right.
she's not the architect of the Green New Deal. So, are you more in the camp of yes, she's going to be a major force here if she chooses to run, likely, or do you share my skepticism that a lot of this enthusiasm is maybe not warranted?
So I really like her. I think she's wildly impressive. To see what she's done in a very, very short period of time in politics, I think it's pretty, crazy. It's
Yeah,
it's just she's been wildly successful. She's young, she's smart, she's attractive, she's engaging. I think she's got a lot of talents. I don't really agree with her on a lot of issues. And I think her very far left approach is probably not, although I'm not convinced, where the party needs to be in terms of winning back, uh, working class voters. I would like to see her run in a primary because I want to see her, um, again, excuse my French, get the shit kicked out of her
yeah,
by a lot of different groups to see how she does it, to see how voters react to her, to see whether, her ideas can stand the primary scrutiny. I'd like to see her run. I think she's a talent. I think she's a huge talent.
yeah. Would you put her as currently as a top tier candidate, as many people I know do?
Um, I think she's a top tier candidate by virtue of her persona. She's in her name recognition and her ability to raise money, which in the beginning really is
Yeah,
is the one of the most important things, your
yeah.
name recognition and your ability to raise money.
Yeah. So
Be very
another really important thing, which is process, but it's one of the few process things that I talk about regularly because it matters so much is the calendar. What states vote early, right? Because even if you raise a lot of money, you're not going to run a national campaign. The states that vote early are disproportionately influential, as you well know. And when
Mhm.
you were running Hillary's campaign in 2008, you had to think about Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina just so much more than any other place because
Right,
they were going to determine who got to the last round.
right,
Right now, we have no idea what states are going to vote early. And we've got a
right.
DNC chair who's pretty weak. He's not going to be like a party boss who just unilaterally makes the decision, as best I can tell. So if you were advising, as a top advisor to one of these candidates, would you be trying to influence that process? Would you be trying to try to get the states that you thought you could do best in to vote early? Or based on what you see, it's just not possible to influence the outcome?
Of course, you're going to try and influence the outcome. I mean, it's part of the political process, not influence, but the states that go first as you said, is a critical aspect of the process. I mean, I could go on for days and days and days and days about how detrimental Iowa being first was for
Yeah.
Hillary in 2008. We didn't really have an opportunity to impact that process back then. And I can tell you why I think Iowa going first is problematic, just
Yep.
because of the demographics of the states, et cetera. And I do think it's important to change it up. But if you are seriously considering running for president, I would take a look at the map, see where you think you can do better than in other places. And sure, of course, try and influence that because
Okay.
right now it's a it's up for grabs.
So,
As
yeah.
you said,
So,
it's
so so
completely up
so
for
let's
grabs.
so let's take Gavin Newsom. Well, if you were Gavin Newsom, what states would you want to have go early?
Well, I don't know enough about his, internal polling, but I would think, first of all, a state like California is probably never going to go early, and a
Yeah.
state like New York is probably never going to go early. You're going to want a state in the middle of the country with uh, diverse demographics and one that is probably going to be very influential in deciding the outcome of the electoral college,
So like a Michigan.
like a Michigan.
Yeah. What about AOC? If you were AOC, you'd probably want Nevada or Nevada. I never know how to say it.
I
You'd
think
probably
it's
want Nevada to go
Nevada.
first, right? It's got a big Hispanic population, big
Yeah,
union vote, right?
yeah.
What other states, if you were her, would you want to have go early?
Uh,
Like, I don't think she's like a great New Hampshire gal.
Probably not.
Yeah.
And also, New Hampshire's been first forever and ever and ever. I think it's time to change it up. I really
Yeah.
do. I really
Yeah.
do.
The problem is they're stubborn there. They want to go first. Their state law
I
says they have to
know.
go first.
I know. And and the flip side to that is that they take this both Iowa and New Hampshire take their responsibility of being first really, really seriously.
Yeah. I
Really, really
I
serious.
say this all the time, and people say, "Oh, let's just have some other states. Their voters there will figure it out." No, they really won't.
Yeah.
It's just they don't have the culture of taking it seriously. And I really, as much as I share your view that they shouldn't have a monopoly, and it's so undemographically diverse, but at the same time, there's a real positive to having voters take it seriously. And I worry about what happens if other states are first and they don't take it seriously, what that means for what expected of candidates. Then it is about name ID. Then it is about who can afford TV ads. It's not about
Right.
really digging into issues with voters.
I totally see that. And I saw it up close. They make it, I mean, these voters in Iowa and in New Hampshire, the caucus go, they take it so seriously. They make it a point to meet every candidate. They read up on all of they take it so seriously, and I admire it. I think that's great. But I just think it's time to change it up a little bit. And let's give voters in Nevada and Michigan the credit that they'll take it seriously too.
Yeah. I want to finish by talking about Erika Kirk again. And you
Mhm.
commented on, just how extraordinary her comments were on Sunday. If
Mhm.
she called you and said, I want to have a big influence on our politics. I want to be, doing a lot to change things. And you were inclined to help her. What do you think her potential is? What do you think her best purpose is to use the skills and gifts she has to influence the national debate, which she wants to do?
Um, First of all, I would tell her how powerful I thought her remarks were. First of all, I don't think she's going to call me. Um,
She might watch the show and call and
I
say,
don't think she's going to call
Patty,
me,
you're so
but
smart. I want you to help me.
it was a really, really powerful speech. I don't know what she wants for herself, for the organization, how she wants to grow and preserve her husband's legacy. You know, doing that may not be running for public office may not be the best way to do that. I'm glad that she's taking over Turning Point because I think there's probably she's the person who can most, uh, move that legacy forward for her husband. And I think she has huge potential. I can't imagine she's thinking about a political future right now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so soon from. I just don't.
Do you see in
I
her
think she can if she wants
yeah?
to.
Do you see in her the potential to be a senator, a governor, or a president?
Sure, why not? Yes.
Yeah. What is? Do you see anyone in the Democratic Party who's like Charlie Kirk in terms of influence?
Um. Hmm. You know, uh, we're gonna. Uh, this is gonna delve into sort of the Jimmy Kimmel situation, which I don't want to, but I think someone like a Jon Stewart,
Mhm.
who, yes, he's a late night comedian, and yes, but he takes on a specific issue and he owns it, he pushes it, he advocates for it. someone like a Jon Stewart, I
Yeah.
think.
Okay, last question, again, pure politics. Based on the last month, do you look at J.D. Vance as a general election presidential candidate your party would have to run against if he runs and is nominated? Do you look at him as more formidable, less formidable, and why?
First of all, I think there's going to be an open primary on the Republican side too. I just don't think that the MAGA movement is into coronating anybody. I think they want to, you know, I think they want to hear everybody out. Um, but I think, first of all, I didn't think JD Vance was just because purely based on his performance on the campaign trail during the presidential. I didn't think he was going to be a, formidable VP. But he's done better than I thought he was going to do.
Hey, everybody, want to tell you a story about a guy named Leo Grillo. He was on a road trip and he came across a dog who was severely underweight, clearly in trouble. The Doberman was saved by Leo. He rescued him and he gave him the name Delta. Sadly, though, Delta is just one of many animals that needed help. That gave Leo the inspiration to start a group he calls Delta Rescue. It's the largest no-kill care for life animal sanctuary on the planet. Over the years, they've rescued thousands of dogs, cats, and horses from the wilderness, and they always do right by them. They give them shelter, love, safety, and a home. That dedication and everlasting love to animals, that is Leo's mission and his legacy. Delta Rescue relies solely on contributions from people like all of us to do their good work. So if you want caring for these animals to be part of your legacy, speak right now to your estate planner because there are tax savings and estate planning benefits to giving to the organization. You can grow your estate while letting your love for animals live well into the future. Check out the estate planning tab on their website to learn more and to speak with an advisor there. We call dog man's best friend for a good reason. You can help those dogs who need it most. So please, right now, visit deltarescue.org today to learn more. Again, that's deltarescue.org.